Welcome. In today's video, we have the best and cheapest RTX 5060 gaming PC. So what that means is I picked all these parts to perform very well with the RTX 5060, along with being very affordable. I'm gonna talk about all the parts in this video and also explain how to build this PC. And of course, play some games and see how well it performs. To start us off, we have a few things to install into our motherboard, but let's start with this first. Here we have the Gigabyte B760M DDR4. Now this, believe it or not, is an open box deal I got on Newegg, which is a pretty common theme in this channel. All right, so here we have it. It is open box, so usually what that means is someone has already opened this, but it looks pretty new for the most part. They could have just never used it, to be honest, so we'll see there. Anyway, for the processor, we have the i5-12400F to pair with this. Now I got this for a nice deal around Black Friday, and at around like $80, this is a very solid option. You could say this is a little bit better than the Ryzen 5 5600, which is commonly around $80 on AliExpress. Now this comes with the CPU and the cooler, so technically this could be even cheaper, but I'm just gonna install the CPU. Which to do so, you just have to pull back this lever, pop the socket open, and here we can carefully just slide it in. And yeah, just don't put any pressure on it, and it should be super simple. Close this back up, place the lever down, make sure it's connected, and then with a little bit of force, this also pops off. Now moving on to our memory, we have a NetTech 32GB kit, and I got a bunch of these a while back at a good deal. I think it was around $35, which is just really good. It's really hard to get that nowadays. You're probably gonna find deals around $45 after tax, which isn't too bad. But yeah, here we have it. Pop back the second and fourth slots here. Then you can just carefully line it up, make sure it's going the right way. Apply some pressure there, and it should click right in. Now we can go ahead and unscrew this little armor for the SSD, which is another NetTech product. We have a 1TB NVMe. This is a Gen 3 drive and it's perfectly fine. It has okay speeds at 3000 megabytes per second, which you really can't notice the difference there. And I've been using these for the past few builds, just because the price was really good for what you're getting. Now this one's a little bit weird because you have to actually install it upside down, but it clicks right in. Make sure you line it up correctly, and then peel off this plastic here for the adhesive, and then we could just slot that in. Now that's simple enough, but we still have to add our air cooler, which I'm using this one I've never used before. They've had a lot of good sales recently on Amazon. Is the Delta A40 from Cypress. I've never used this brand before, so I guess we'll see if these are actually good. And it just comes already installed. Looks pretty clean as well. First thing we're gonna need is this bracket to put on the back. Kind of just slot it in. Now we can take these little standoffs and then line it up on every single hole and screw each of them in. And then we can line up these brackets and then secure them with these little guys. Now it does come with some thermal paste, but I'm using my own here. Now I always like to spread the thermal paste evenly on Intel CPUs, just because it's harder to spread them. And then we can peel off the plastic here, then line up the cooler, and yeah, just evenly screw it in on both sides. The last thing to do for now is just plug in the fan to the CPU fan port. Now moving on, we have the case, which is the Thermaltake Versa H16. Now again, I got this on a pretty good deal, but I'm pretty sure this is at a fair price at all times. And I have used this once before, so I know it will be good enough and something that you might want. Just a pretty normal looking micro ATX case. And yeah, it's nice and compact, but it still can fit everything we need. So let's get that front panel open and also the back panel for the screws. All right, so first, before we install a motherboard, we need to install this IO shield. And yeah, kind of just pops right in. It looks like we're missing one standoff right here, so you could just tighten that one in. Now we could just slide in our motherboard, and using these screws, we can go ahead and screw it in. Yeah, all screwed in. Time to flip it back up. Here's how it's looking so far, pretty clean. But we're gonna use the back side here. Because here are where a bunch of cables lie. And I'm gonna show you real quick where to put them. First, we're gonna take the biggest cable, the USB 3.0, and just route it through the middle side here. Now we can take all these little cords here, which is the F panel, and route it through the bottom left, which is the bottom right of the motherboard. And then we could take the one that says USB and route it through the same side, more in the middle. And then we take the HD audio and route it through the bottom right, bottom left of the motherboard. Now here here, we're gonna take the RGB cable from this fan right here, and we're gonna plug this one in. But before we do that, we have the RGB from the cooler, and we can actually connect the two, which is called daisy chaining. And then I'm gonna plug in this one into the motherboard, which is about right in the middle. Unless we take the male connector and then plug it into the female connector from the case fans. Basically, you can connect each RGB cable to each other, so then they're all linked together. And then now we have to find two separate ports for fans, one of which is right here in the top right, and then the other one in the bottom middle. And yeah, that should be all the cables besides the power to plug into the motherboard. And yeah, this is what it all looks like. Here in the bottom left, we have the HD audio. Then here in the middle, we have the RGB cable. Then we have our USB. Then we have our fan cable and the F panel right next to it, which looks something like this when you install it. And then top left, we have a fan port, then our CPU fan, and then right here on the right, we have our USB 3.0. Pretty much all the little connections are done. Now we just have the big ones. Now, forgot to record, but here I plugged in the cable extensions for the CPU and motherboard power. Now we're left with a pretty big mess, which is only gonna get messier because we have our power supply, which is the MSI Mag 8650BN Tier C unit, everything you need for an RTX 5060. This one is affordable, but I think there are some better options, which I will link down below. All right, and then facing fan down, we can slide our power supply in here. Now with these bigger screws, we can just screw it in. Now I have a whole bunch of cables to deal with, but I think it's best to just separate what we actually need, which are the big three. We do not need any SATA or Molex. And then now I'm gonna route the PCIe through the bottom. And then take your CPU, either route it through or just plug it into cable extension. Here we can plug in our motherboard. I will say the cable management will probably look something like this when we're all done here. But I always like to test the PC out first. And then here I'm gonna install the cable extension and unscrew our side bracket. Then I already know that these top two will have to be removed. So now we can push back the PCIe. And here we have the RTX 5060, this one from MSI. Yeah. Super nice clean card here. I got this one below MSRP, which I think they should be. All right, well, it's not gonna perfectly fit, but I know it's supposed to. Definitely a bit big, but I mean, that's all I could get. Last thing to do, plug it in to our cable extension, and there we go. Looks very clean, very nice, but what's most important is if it can handle some games. All right, so here we have some Fortnite. We're running it at 1440p, performance mode, unlimited frames, and then far view distance. Everything else on low, and NVIDIA low latency on plus boost. All right, so yeah, if you watched my last video, we're actually gonna be comparing the RTX 5060 to the 9060 XT 8 gig. Okay, like that guy, you know, go back to the lobby. Oh. Oh, you know, yeah, I still got it. Yeah, low-key, I should be a pro again, you know what I'm saying? I was a pro before in Fortnite, if you didn't know. Bang. All right. All right, so we got 10 kills, you know what I'm saying? But what's more important is we're getting around 200 to a little bit over 200. I would say we're getting a little over 200 to 220 FPS. The 9060 XT 8 GB is like $25 to like $45 cheaper. I'm just giving a rough estimate. Oh, get me out. Yeah, dead. Well, that was a decent game. Yeah, Fortnite ran pretty well. Obviously, very playable at over 200 FPS. And at 1440p, keep that in mind. But I think testing at 1440p is much more important than 1080p, just to really test it at the 8 GB of VRAM that it has, showing it's still good and doesn't have to be at 1080p. Now we have some Marvel rivals. We're running 1440p performance DLSS, as well as just low settings along with that. And we will also be testing 1080p. Boom, I'm so good against AI, let's go. All right, so as we're seeing, about 150 to 175 FPS, It's actually not very consistent, I'm not gonna lie. Just keep that in mind. I mean, that's definitely playable and pretty good. Still 1440p. So let's change it to 1080p right now. And yeah, to be honest, it actually isn't changing. The FPS is still kind of crazy with what's going on right now, but I'm not gonna lie, I expected 1080p to actually have way better FPS, but it really didn't change. And now we're on some Cyberpunk. Still run that 1440p, and we're gonna be doing the high preset here and just enabling DLSS instead of AMD FSR. And yeah, just run the benchmark real quick. And yeah, that ran at 111 FPS. And looking back at my old benchmark, this is the exact FPS that the 9060 XT 8GB got. So you can see it's a pretty direct comparison here. And just like I did, I'll be trying the ray tracing low preset, just like the 9060 XT benchmark. At 1080p, it only ran at 114 FPS. So this is technically 1 FPS less, which is crazy considering this has ray tracing. Now, I don't know if I'm doing these things wrong, but I swear I'm just benchmarking the same thing. I don't really know what's going on. I feel like the 5060 should be better here. Now for the last benchmark, we're also gonna be doing low settings just to see how many FPS you can get on this game. And there we have it, 164 FPS, 6 FPS less than the 9060 XT. That's insane to think, because this game I felt like had the advantage with the 5060 because of ray tracing and also just being a more high-end game, but it actually performed a little bit worse in every game than the 9060 XT. So as we can see, we got the bottom half of the rivalry here. The 9060 XT 8GB that cost the same amount as this PC performed a little bit better. Basically, I was able to purchase both of them under retail because they're on a sale. And yeah, this PC actually performed a little bit worse. So that doesn't mean anything though with this computer, because obviously NVIDIA is better for ray tracing and also its software is more preferred among other people. Or you could simply just buy a 9060 XT or maybe an Intel Arc B580 instead of the 5060. That is basically what is shown here. Other than that, I think this is the best you can get at this price with the 5060. Subscribe.